All right, Don. So now that I've been mentoring you for a few weeks, are there any places where you're feeling stuck, confused, or, as I say, feel like you're bamboozling yourself?
Hey, Scott. Yes, I'm glad you asked. So, I had a session with Dan last week, which was so great. I mean, he's so hot and he holds such good space and he listens to me. And he doesn't always just point me back to landings and deficiency stories like you do. I just still feel like you don't hear me on things.
Well, Don, as I've said before, the I'm not heard deficiency story is a common landing for you, and it's keeping you from accessing the buried anger below. When Dan merely listens and holds space for you, he's actually not doing you any favors. He's coddling you and keeping you safe, which enables your system to stay away from your anger, which would get you freer if you accessed it.
You're doing it again. All you ever do is criticize and point out what's wrong with me. And I think that's an abuse of your power as a mentor.
Don, I want you to hear me. You're here for mentorship. You signed up for this. Me pointing you back to your landings, deficiency stories, is what the work is. Do you remember taking the somatic testing series where we found that you're primarily an anger repressor and that you're here to work with your buried anger?
Yes?
Well, do you think this could be anger right now?
No, I think it's that you're angry and you're being controlling and abusive. And I may have to quit if you don't leave me alone.
Well, maybe it's a good idea for you to go, Don. It might give you some time to process the trigger that you have with me, which, from what I know about your history, feels to be about your relationship with your father.
Well, now you're gaslighting me by telling me that my feelings about you being controlling and abusive aren't valid. I can't believe I signed up for this.
Don, listen, maybe you should go. I don't want you projecting on and datifying me. That's a boundary I have with anyone who's resistant to processing.
But I feel so hurt by you.
Are you sure you're not just angry, Don? As you say, at your dad for neglecting and never listening to you. Why don't you check your body if you've got the wherewithal? Try, I can express my anger to Dad for not listening to me.
I can fully express my anger to Dad for never listening to me. I can't. Oh, I hate you. I hate you, you son of a bitch. I hate you for never listening to me or seeing me or hearing me. Oh, I hope you burn in hell.
That was great, Don. Thanks for having the willingness to inquire right in the middle of your trigger with me. Since we talked up front about how you probably have an authority projection on me, your mentor, it just helps down the road when your system starts experiencing me as him.
Whew, I feel like I just rolled or something. Man, can't believe I didn't catch that dad projection. It's so hard to see when you're in it, you know? Look, I'm sorry I put my past pain on you, Scott. Didn't you say that all authority issues are ultimately emotional repression issues?
I did. And for you, that means buried anger issues. Anger repressors deny themselves their own anger, power, and expression, and then they usually shadow that out onto teachers, mentors, and any other authority who trust themselves. Remember, if we try to control our emotions and expression, we try to control others too.
Oh, right. If I'm not allowed to, no one is.
Exactly. This work isn't about continuing to get loved and or rejected by authority. It's about coming into our own.
Well, then I'm going to give Dan a piece of my mind next time I see him, for playing good cop. I wonder if that has anything to do with his anger repression. Trying to be a gentle, loving, kind assistant mentor.
I'd be willing to bet.